Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Danielle and I currently live alone and I'm trying to eat healthy while shopping on a budget. That normally involves me going into Lidl once a week to pick up things, and I'll occasionally end up getting either a top-up shop or going into something somewhere else and grabbing something as well. With that, like I said, I do try to eat healthy, do things that are suitable to and eat myself, that will create friendly leftovers for either the fridge or the freezer that reheat well. And like I said, just do it all on an affordable budget as well. So I did go into Lidl this week and I will show you what I got. And I also ended up going into somewhere called Blackahall Farm for afternoon tea with my mum as part of her birthday thing. And with that, I did also end up picking up some Yorkshire Parkin. For anybody that doesn't know, it's kind of a cake that includes sort of golden syrup and a few other bits. We did have some of that as part of the afternoon tea and it was super delicious. I also got some of the Malden smoked sea salt flakes. I'm definitely looking forward to adding him to my salt collection, even though I don't necessarily have salt as much as some people. I do know that it is important for my cooking and I'm trying to get better at actually incorporating it in ways that make meals more flavourful rather than just plain salty. And then I also got, it's double stacked, I got some pork ribs, which actually was a reasonable price. It's £5.75 for 700 grams, which is actually more for less than you'd get in some supermarkets as well. They did have a 3 for £16 offer going on, but I didn't need to get anything extra, so I didn't want to do that and have to find ways to force it into the freezer and things. And obviously that, even if I'd have got 3 of these, I wouldn't have actually been saving that much money. So for once, it wasn't particularly worth it. But I will show you what I got from Lidl now, and then I'll come back in a few moments and tell you the plans for the meals of the week. So this is indeed what I got in Lidl this week. So as you can see, it's a reasonable collection of items, not super huge quantities, but I did get 2 of these really large bell peppers, 2 of the red ones. They were loose and that meant they were probably worked out slightly more than if I'd got a pack of 3 individual ones. But like I said, with the size of them, they'll basically last me for sort of 4 goes. And then because of my little plus 15% off, I did decide to pick up some of this smoked salmon slices, one of the 4 packs of them, as well as some Greek yogurt. As you know by now, I have this pretty much every day, or if not every day, then nearly every day. And I think I only have 1 portion left in the fridge at the minute, so I made sure to pick some more up. And then when I couldn't get hold of any satay sauce, I thought about the fact that I have peanut butter, some sort of creaminess, that I can just use some fresh peanuts, or well, not fresh, but some of those actual chunks of peanuts to go with it. And then I grabbed 2 large avocados. I will normally end up using most of these in one go, but sometimes I will then spread them out across 2 meals in one day as sort of part of a breakfast and lunch, or a lunch and a dinner, something like that. And then I currently don't have any mushrooms, so I did make sure to pick up some more of those as well. And I always normally go for the chestnut ones over the plain white ones when I can. Don't have anything against the other ones, but I find the chestnut ones have a bit more extra flavour and tend to hold up their texture a bit better. And then I picked up some more bananas. And as you can see, these ones have got a bit of green going on. And with how cold it can be in my flat, they'll probably stay green for a fair while. Then I picked up some pineapple chunks just to snack on. Don't actually have any intentional sort of plans for them in terms of a meal or anything. Like I said, I will just normally end up having those probably as a bit of a snack. In the same way as with these easy peelers, I'll probably incorporate them into my morning or afternoon breaks at work and back on late all of the following week. So it'll probably end up being more of kind of a brunchy situation more than anything else. And as always, I got some more broccoli. You know how I am about pretty much getting broccoli every week. It is one of my favourite sort of basic vegetables. So I do grab it quite a lot. And then to incorporate into breakfast and lunches, I just picked up one of the small loaves of the sliced wholemeal seeded bread. I thought about getting a bigger one, but then that would encourage me to just end up eating bread for days on end. And I don't necessarily want to do that. And I got some celery. Sometimes I obviously mix this into my actual cooking. Sometimes I snack on it and put it with some peanut butter and stuff as well. So I figured that'd be a good snacking option as well. And then I'd still have 1 potato left, 1 pretty big potato, but I just picked up 1 more to make sure that I do have it for the meals as I need them. And I also got some kiwis. I do sometimes eat these just as a snack, kind of like an apple with the skin on, because you can eat the skins, and sometimes I'll chop them up into things. And then following along with the sugary fruit naturalness, I picked up some more cold pressed juice as well as some freshly squeezed orange juice. I really need to find ways and find snacks that I can have that don't necessarily have lots of sugar in, but also have that healthy factor to go with them. But I still stand by, there are definitely worse things to have than natural sugars, though my sort of waistline and the personal body struggles that I have would probably disagree. But I did at least pick up some more no added strength squash. And then definitely in the unhealthy category, some of Lidl's own Jaffa cakes, mainly due to having them free with Lidl Plus. That is everything that I got this week. So now I'll get back to what I do plan to eat for the rest of the week as well. All right, so with all of that in mind, I do have here my rough plan for the week. Last week I ended up not having the meatballs or the tin tuna fish cakes, so I have rolled that over to this week. Obviously, most of those are sort of cupboard ingredients or things that are in the freezer anyway, so it didn't mean that any of the food that I got last week went to waste or anything. It just means that I can roll it into this week's one. But then I also have some konjac noodles from ages ago from one of the little sort of Asia weeks, and I want to use that to incorporate it into sort of a stir fry kind of thing. Just want to use those up, get them out of the way, see if I like them, to whether that's something I'd actually want to pick up again. In a similar vein, I also have some rice noodles in that same box of things that doesn't fit into this cupboard, so I want to do some of those with kind of some chicken, some sort of peanut butter, peanut kind of creaminess, sort of like a satay sauce, but not quite. I'm not going to actually call it a satay sauce because it will be a homebrew concoction. But then I also want to do some simple tuna pasta, some tuna, a bit of tomato, some cheese, some vegetables mixed through it. Super quick and simple, and that'll definitely create potentially some nice leftovers. If I end up doing overdoing the quantity of pasta, then I can just split it into two. If not, then it'll just be a super tunery normal portion of pasta. And then I still have some pesto from when I used it last week. I still have like sort of half of that jar. So I'm going to try to do it into kind of a jacket potato sort of situation with some pesto, some cheese, perhaps some red pepper or something mixed through it as well. Maybe with a little bit of salad on the side. We'll see about that though. And I only have those 6 meals because of the fact that I did go out for afternoon tea today. I figured I wouldn't be wanting a huge super full meal, but depending on how I'm feeling, I might end up putting some of these into the oven, having some of them, and then having them sort of for leftovers for lunches and things throughout the week as well, instead of trying to put them into the freezer. But they did just catch my fancy in terms of some of the pork ribs. Like I said, they look super fresh and yummy. Like I say, it is a stack of 2 of them, so if I do that, then they will last for quite a while anyway. But that is all that I have planned for this week. In terms of main meals, for lunches, I have made sure to get some bread. I've got some crackers, some other bits, some bobs. I did get some of that smoked salmon on that discount from the Lidl Plus app that I'll probably end up incorporating into lunches. I have some sort of corn cakes and some soft cheese, so I might do that as sort of a fancy lunch. I might even end up doing it as kind of a breakfast, say on Sunday, where I'll do it as, say, scrambled egg with the smoked salmon on toast, something like that. But we'll see, I'll definitely be able to find ways to incorporate that. As always, I got more yogurt and fruit to be able to have for breakfast and snacks throughout the day. So hopefully that all works out. Like I said, I'm definitely trying to get better at sticking to things. And obviously, yes, I did purchase the cake that you would have seen earlier. But I am obviously overall trying to buy less sweet treats, less things that can tempt me. I did get the Jaffa cakes, but that's because, again, as you would have seen, I had the Lidl Plus free item for sort of cakes or biscuits sort of things going on. And whilst I could have just not purchased them, it did feel a little bit of a waste. And I figured that Jaffa cakes are something that I can get in small amounts, or I can even do, say, what would be a pretty plain cheesecake, but then just put a Jaffa cake or something on top, perhaps with a bit of marmalade running through, say the cheesecake sort of mixture. And that would just be a good way to then incorporate a few of the other items that I happen to have hanging around as well. But yeah, like I said, we'll see how it goes. And if you did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing if you aren't already. And I'll catch you again in the next one, where it'll either be my meals of the week, another one of these grocery shop videos, or perhaps sort of a recipe or review video during the week as well. Bye guys.